Welcome to Dugout Therapy, a baseball podcast about the mental game built by Coach Crates. If you're looking to succeed both on and off the field, this is the place for you.
Hello, and welcome to Dugout Therapy. I'm your host today, Quinn Adams. We are live at the Coach Crates HQ, the baseball coaching subscription box. Today I'm interviewing the CEO and founder of Coach Crates. He's leading the vision of the company. He doesn't sleep. He's bringing us Dugout Therapy. He's supporting the pod. His name is David Wodzisz. Dave, how are you?
I'm doing good, Quinn. Excited to chat with you today and kind of kick off this podcast we've been in the works on for a little while now.
So like he said, we have been in the works for a while about this. It's been on our mind for a while. So this is just an introductory episode. I'm going to be teeing up, I guess, Dave, with a bunch of questions on what is Coach Crates, why did he start it, how did he get to this point, and what's next for the wonderful company that Coach Crates is. So I'm going to be like Tim Wakefield when his knuckleball isn't working. Just getting teed up, pulled in the third inning. So Dave, explain to the listeners what Coach Crates is, and maybe before that, just your background.
Yeah, I'd love to. I mean, been dying to I think give the company a voice, and hopefully to all our listeners, this will give them a better idea of like why we started the company and what we're about and what direction we're going in. But yeah, Coach Crates, it's been a baby of mine for a little less than 2 years now. I started it after finish up my college baseball career at Moravian College. Kind of left baseball saying, I don't want it to be over. I want to stay in baseball. I want to help players. I want to help coaches somehow. I want to stay involved in the game. The easy way to do that is to coach. So one, I got involved in that, and two, I thought, how else can I make a difference with players and coaches in today's changing game? And I kind of reflected a little bit upon my career, and something that stood out to me was back in high school or growing up, practices tend to be the same, day in, day out. I'm like, what do coaches need to make a difference, in their players and their teams and really make an impact? So that was a big driving factor of the idea, and really why I started the company was to do that, to help players get better. And how do I help players get better? Help coaches have the most knowledge, the most tools, the most gear to make their teams engaged and practice differently than other teams, practice at a level better than other teams, and I think ultimately that helps the players, and I'm hoping will change the game for the better in the long run.
So you've obviously played baseball for a long time. When did it start to be a thing where you were like, okay, I can not only, help people out, but I could possibly form a company? When did the idea of Coach Crates kind of get it implanted in your mind? Like when you were younger?
Honestly, I thought about the different parts of this company in different aspects of my college career, and then as college continued, all these ideas kind of, I feel like, came together, and towards the end of my junior year I started thinking about why there isn't something like this focused around training and helping coaches and teams and players get better, and how do I make that something easy to obtain, and something easy to adopt, and something easy to use? All of the situations and circumstances, I feel like, of my high school and college career led me to this idea, and that's how I ended up coming upon it. I think it was like towards the end of my junior year, and I was just kind of brainstorming around different things throughout the end of college, and then I've always been entrepreneurial.
Yes,
just always liked building stuff, to be honest. So I said I want to build something with my passion, for my passion, about my passion, and let's see if we can give back and help people along the way. And that was a big part of why I did this as well. Every crate that we sell, we give money back to Turn 2 for Youth. And I was like, if I can make an aspect of it where it's, bettering kids that want to play baseball, or kids that want to, get involved in baseball, but, they're just coming from tough circumstances, like, I think that makes it all the worthwhile for me. So that was a big part of the concept that I wanted to weave into this as I was kind of building it.
Can you explain Turn 2 for Youth?
Yeah, for sure. So they're a partner of ours. They are actually a nonprofit linked up with the ABCA, the American Baseball Coaching Association. And what they do is they donate baseball equipment and supplies to youth communities in need, like across the country. So for every crate, we donate $1 to them to help fundraise money for new equipment for kids and stuff like that. And I've also donated equipment to them as I've collected. I've had plenty of equipment from my days, used stuff that I'll send their way as well. So I would highly suggest, if you guys aren't getting involved, you got old equipment, stuff like that, send it in. Don't just throw the stuff in the garbage. Like, there's kids in need that can really use the stuff, and they're a great company, great guys behind it. So it's been a pleasure to work with them.
Now, you've mentioned the crate, but what is it?
Yeah. So the Coach Crate, essentially what it is a box focused on baseball development. So a subscription box model focused on coaching development, and we filled it with training tools, books, so they can get some more knowledge, learn some new things about the game. The game's changing a lot these days. The book gives them an opportunity to learn more about analytics, mentality, habits, things that they can instill in their players to make them better, not just on the field but off the field. So we got tools, books, gear, game supplies. These are all things that we're interweaving in the crate to help the coach develop dynamic training plans rather than a static one. My goal is to give someone if I could give someone a crate for an entire year and make every practice different from the last, that's challenging the player to develop, rather than they're going to the field every day, they're hitting BP, they're fielding a couple ground balls, and they're leaving.
Yeah.
Eventually they're going to master hitting a 20-mile-an-hour fastball thrown at them and a routine fungo. But if we can work in different tools, if we can work in different drills, from our coaches looking at our training hub and using these tools, then ultimately they can help drive some development for their kids, and the players that are serious can run with that, and take their game to the next level, which is really ultimately, our goal. Help kids play at the next level. Help coaches, make kids, grow into good men on and off the field. It's not just about on the field, but also off the field.
Yeah, I mean, the crate's really versatile because not only can our players welcome to use it, but coaches can use it in anticipation for their summer team, their fall ball team. They're going to get a new crate every month with new things in it that'll help them optimize their practices and keep it lively, diversify their portfolio. Because, kids' attention spans aren't very long, like when a baseball coach does the same practice format for months, that can distract some people. And I think Coach Crates is going to combat that, and it's a great way to diversify a coach's portfolio as well as improve players.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's so easy for someone who works full-time and coaches on the side to go to work all day and then go to practice after and not be prepared to help their kids get better or to teach them, one valuable life lesson. So if, they read a book every month that, where they can learn some things to then instill in their kids and then bring different tools, for a couple weeks straight and, help change up practice and keep those kids engaged and want to be a good team and want to play together, and then that makes all the difference. I'd say probably more than 60% of coaches are working a full-time job and then doing that. So it's so hard to stay prepared and keep learning about the changing game. The game's changing every single year. 5-10 years ago we weren't really talking about analytics, and today we're looking at the attack angle of a swing. We're looking at the launch angle of a swing. We're looking at the exit velocity of a swing. We're looking at bat speed. We're looking at the pitch speed, the spin rate. There's so many different things. But what that also allows coaches to do is use that information with how they've been coaching already and then put together tools to make good training plans for kids to actually get better. You no longer have eye testing. It's a combination of eye testing and statistics to help build physical plans that get kids better, and it's proven by the numbers and also by video. So the game's changing a lot, and I want coaches to change with it so their players can as well.
What's in the crate this month?
Some fitness, like medicine balls, use kind of like therapy balls, so you could use them for like working out muscles and getting loose before the game. The agility ladder, we got some bands, and we also have this, it's a half disc stability ball. So the reason I threw this actually in the crate this month was pretty cool. We have a cool drill that I'm going to do, drill video I'm going to release on the Training Hub with this, for an instability drill while you're hitting. So you put this half medicine ball essentially under your back foot to feel kind of a little instability on your backside. So you have to balance more and hold your weight in your back hip. And it's great for front toss, really to feel a nice coil back, to hold your weight there, feel some balance, and then like explode and you can swing right off it. And instead of you being a twister and just spinning your back foot, when you're off the ground a little bit on this half medicine ball, you physically have to throw your weight into your front side to get off of that ball. Otherwise, it's got grips on the bottom, so it'll get stuck in the turf or wherever you're hitting.
What's the name of that half rubber ball that we were throwing around?
Yeah, so that'll be a cool video coming out soon. Half rubber is another product we featured. Now these pitches are unreal. You can throw all these different types of pitches. Great off-speed training in the cage. But yeah, check that out on the Training Hub. It'll be up soon. Quinn was throwing some crazy curveballs at me. It
seems like a good idea to mix the product that you just plugged with that half rubber ball. That would just be the ultimate
It would
challenge.
be the ultimate, probably speed training and off-speed training, because you have to stay back as it is with that instability. Also with different pitches coming at you. So, and that's been another focus of ours, I think. Building crates that have tools that can be used together. So, by the end of a baseball season, if you're subscribed for, 3 to 6 months for that year, you're going to have a collection of tools where you can really put together like month plans. Like our team's going to focus on this month, or, these bi-weekly stretches. This is, MVP for our team to get better these next 2 weeks. And you can combine all these tools and really make some cool training plans.
Now, I think we mentioned that you are a coach on the side. Yes. Have you used coach crates with your players? How have they responded to it? And have you seen a successful coach crates experience firsthand?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I coach for the Lehigh Valley Pates, and we have a bunch of kids all from the Lehigh Valley and in Pennsylvania here, from like 13 to 16 age. So I helped out on all 3 teams with the analytics, the baseball analytics. So I was running Rhapsody for all the teams and at practice and stuff. But I mainly helped assistant coach the 14s, and we had an indoor facility, so we had a lot of time where we were using hit tracks as well, and I got to use one of our products was a training lace, so you can use that as a bat weight or a fielding weight or a throwing weight. It's a pliable, essentially like weighted bar that you can like bend over your wrists, and it'll kind of stay in place. It's like foam, and that can go on the bat as well, so you can hit with it, you can field with it, and throw with it. And that was something we used a lot with the kids. Add a little resistance to fielding, keep their glove down, add a little resistance to throwing, strengthen the wrist, strengthen the arm in general. And then with bat weights, if I throw that bat weight in the middle of handle of the bat, it tended to give them a little bit more balance and to stay behind the ball. So I liked it for front toss, just to force them to feel what their bat path was. But that was one tool we used a lot. We used the Rawlings two-handed fielder, the fielding trainer, a lot. It's a foam flat glove essentially, and we loved using that. But yeah, I brought a bunch of crates to our facility and was using it with the kids all the time. A lot of them liked a lot of the tools. Hip start was another popular one to kind of feel rotating your hips through the zone while swinging. But yeah, I got a lot of good feedback, and we featured some products too where kids are like, I wouldn't use it for this, but I would use it for this. Like I like what kind of this does for me on the tee or whatever. So a lot of good feedback, being able to coach and actually use the product we're creating.
So clearly, baseball is a very prevalent part of your life.
You could say that, yeah.
let's go back to your college days. You were a college ball player.
Yeah.
Captain at Moravian College.
For sure, yeah.
What did you learn being in that leadership role that kind of can translate to running a business?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're definitely almost one and the same. Leadership, whether you're a leader in the workplace or a leader of your business or a leader on a sports team, a lot of these soft skills they transfer over, and I'm a big proponent of the mental game and soft skills, and that's what I want this podcast a lot to talk about, because it's something that isn't talked about a lot, but a lot of these things were instilled with me at Moravian, and so I'll give you a kind of a view of my career there. I came in as a freshman to a very good team coming off their best year in school history, with high hopes, and I just wanted to play. I wanted to be a role player. However I can get in there and help the team win, I'm cool with that. I wanted to play. There was pretty much an entire senior lineup at that point, and I was completely okay with it because I was going to learn from them. We were going to be successful, and I was going to figure out a way to help, and whether that's just in the dugout, seeing things, looking for things, talking about stuff with other guys, helping other guys, I was going to do that. So my freshman year, maybe got 30, 40 at bats or something like that. Did decent, helped out where I could. Helped a little bit at third base through some injuries and stuff. I came in as a shortstop, so helped at short a little bit as well. But I was kind of developing a little bit into more of a third baseman. But didn't get to see the field a lot after coming off a really great high school career, and that's college. Everyone's just as good as everybody, and that taught me a little bit of something about you got to put the work in to get where you want to be. One. Two, you got to do your part. You got to know your role. So we ended up being barely over 500 my freshman year, but we made it to the championship on the final day of my conference, and we lost in 13 innings. And a couple of our seniors went all out in that game. It was a really cool game, and we should have taken it. We should have won that the championship that year, but we didn't. So I think losing off the bat with high expectations left a sour taste in all our mouths and just pushed us the rest of my career there, and we were slowly building from there. The following year, we really struggled to bounce back, and our senior class that year was pretty much most of our team. So after that, I was like, if we can't figure it out this year, it's on us. Like, we got to lead the next 2 years. We got to figure this out. We got to right the ship. That's our responsibility as leaders, of this team and players for Moravian. So that's what we did, and that's what I focused on my last 2 years as a captain for the team was how do we make this a winning program again? How do we get back to the championship, and how do we win it? And my junior year, we made it back to playoffs. My senior year, we almost made it all the way to the championship, lost in the last game. So we definitely built some steps, and then the year after we left, I think we set up the program in a really great way, which was cool. That team played in the championship. They had a chance to win it all. Lost on the last day. Like, they got back to where we were a couple of years ago, and now they're in really good hands. They're helping kids come in and, establishing good discipline among the team and the right habits and routines to be successful on and off the field. So I would say a lot of my focus as a captain was probably off the field, more so than people think, because it's the stuff off the field, the routines and the habits that lead to results on the field. So
you think that you and your seniors kind of implanted a culture of sorts that could...
Primarily our entire focus was on culture, because we struggled with that my sophomore and junior year, some culture issues, and that was a big focus of ours just because we struggled with it. And the more we played as a team, the better we were. We had talented guys. We had the talent all 4 years I was there. It was never about talent. It was all about culture, routines, habits, discipline, and that was our focus. And along the way, I started to play better and better. I dealt with a lot of injuries, which helped shape the type of leader I was. You don't get second chances. Whatever's in front of you, your opportunity you have at hand, you have to seize it. If you never know, tomorrow is not a given. I won the starting shortstop position my sophomore year. First game, I tore my PCL. I was out 75% of the year, but I am thankful that happened to me because it made me a better leader. It made me thankful for every single day I had on the field, and the rest of my college career was much better for it. And I just wish I had that outlook before something like that happened to me. Mm-hmm. And then I struggled with injuries even more after that. So you have to battle. Every day is a battle, and you got to be thankful for every day you get to put a jersey on, because wish I was still putting one on today.
As do I. Do I. So it's late summer. I don't want to say what month it is because I don't know when this episode's coming out. But it's the end of the season, so it's going to be, fall ball. If not, it's the off season. What's the future for Coach Crates? Because obviously it's going to be off season, but I'm sure you guys have a lot in store.
Yeah. Honestly, the end of fall has been our busiest time. I think that's because coaches are trying to step up their game and plan for the following year, or get themselves set up for a good fall ball program, because kind of fall ball is almost like the beginning of their next year, really, because summer's over, your travel ball, whatever, is over, and then coaches are getting in re-gear, like how can I get better. So I think fall is our busiest time, but the off season is when the biggest strides are made by players. So this year, a big focus of ours is going to be our training hub. We're going to be posting a lot of videos this off season
on your website.
Yeah, at coachcrates.com, on the training hub. Check it out. It's essentially going to be a blog of resources, videos, articles, tips, tricks, and what we're doing is building a training hub mentor program. So we're going to be inviting other pro coaches, other organizations, hitting, instructors, what you name it, a bunch of different types of coaches, instructors, and inviting them to produce content, put quality videos and articles along with the stuff we're releasing in there that supports our message of, helping kids get better, teams get better, train differently, utilize different things, think about baseball differently. So that's going to be a big push of ours this off season, and then the products that go along with it are going to be probably more on more training than even in the in season. So more like exercise and strength and conditioning focus, because that's what a lot of the stuff in the off season is going to be geared towards. And then we also are hoping to feature some good hopefully some good stuff around nutrition as well, and building good eating habits along with the good strength and conditioning program. So we're trying to put together a nice off-season mix this year, which is exciting, and looking forward to what all the content we're going to get out there on the training hub, and how many mentors we can get signed up as well.
I'm excited for that. I hope I'll probably get denied, but I'd like to add some content to that training hub. Moving on.
Yeah, maybe we'll let you in there for a couple videos.
Maybe.
With me in it, of course, though.
Hey, I can help you out with like weight loss.
I mean,
we've
yeah, we've done a couple videos together, so people will be seeing those soon. They'll love them.
Oh yeah. So, dugout therapy, what the listener is listening to right now. You really haven't mentioned that when I'm saying what's next for Coach Crates.
What's next? I was leaving this for the end because I wanted to give a voice to Coach Crates here and kind of talk about what we're about. But this is the next project. This is our biggest community movement probably. We're trying to get everyone that's ever been involved with Coach Crates or wants to be involved to listen to the podcast. This is going to be focused on not just baseball, but a lot of mental game stuff. A lot of people aren't talking about the mental game, and I'm trying to shed some light to it, have coaches think about it more, have players think about it more, have teams think about it more. You could have a talented 20-man roster of guys on the high school level that 3 of them are going all state, but if they have terrible attitudes, if they aren't disciplined, if they don't have the right habits, routines, on and off the field, it's going to catch up to you, and it's going to catch up to the team, and everyone's going to suffer for that. The mental game is a huge part of baseball today, and I'm trying to shed some light to that. I'm trying to get the community involved. I'm going to have some really cool guests coming up that me and Quinn are going to be filming in these next couple weeks, and
stay tuned.
Yeah, we're really excited for these first couple guests, and you guys are going to be blown away with some of the habit stuff that we're going to be talking about, the hitting mentality stuff we're going to be talking about. So stay tuned. Dugout Therapy.
What's your favorite baseball book?
This would be our first quick pitch question.
Yes.
Okay.
Working title.
My favorite baseball book. Probably the Ted Williams book.
Is it a bio?
It's not. It's literally about hitting mechanics.
He's getting up to go look for it, listeners.
Gosh.
No, we
this
could
is
cut.
A classic. The Science of Hitting. Science of Hitting right here.
He found it.
Science of Hitting, Ted Williams. And John Underwood, I guess, helped him write this. This is like 40 years old. Ted Williams was talking about what everybody's talking about now with hitting like 40 years ago, like matching the plane of the baseball and all these things. Great book. A lot of pictures, a lot of graphics, him talking about zones to hit in, things he focused on at the plate. Like, this is the last guy to hit 400 in a season in Major League Baseball. So, like, a lot of good stuff in here. My favorite one, for sure, just about baseball. I've got a lot of other ones that we featured that I like, and about mental game stuff and other motivational things that I like as well. But baseball, that one's my favorite.
You ever read the Matt Christopher baseball books, like when you were younger.
Are those like baseball kid story books?
Yes. No. This is just a nostalgia moment for the pod.
Were these your bedtime stories?
They were, and there were some that were really good. There was one that was like a Field of Dreams type situation where the Black Sox showed up and they ended up like teaching the main character bad aspects of the game. Like he ended up playing really well, but he like rounding the bases, hitting a dinger, he would like trip a player out in the field.
Oh man! So they're trying to instill some what not to do's, I guess, for kids
Yes.
in those. But funny you mentioned that Field of Dreams next year. MLB is hosting a game
That's
out.
true.
What is that in Iowa?
Yeah, White Sox.
Yeah. I don't even know. They just released. They said they're going to be doing it, so that's going to be super cool. They're literally rebuilding that field, I guess. But yeah.
So I'm a young listener listening to this right now on his iPad. He's a prospective baseball player. He wants to be in the MLB when he grows up. What's one piece of crucial advice that you would give him? Something that you learned, maybe a regret that you have that could help him move up the ladder to the MLB?
Well, one thing I'll say, and this was something my college coach, Coach Engelhardt, he would say all the time, have no regrets. So you might end up having some. But if you go in with a mentality of have no regrets, you'll tend to play all out. You'll tend to go 110% no matter what. So I've always liked that. But one piece of advice I would say is take the time outside of practice and games as serious as possible. If you become a planner and a scheduler and take the time when nobody's watching very seriously, that will seriously impact how you play on the field, how you practice, and ultimately you play how you practice. So if you're not getting better just by practice, it's probably because you're not taking the time outside of practice seriously.
I agree with that. Like, conditioning was always my issue. I always struggled with weight. If I trained just a little bit, like I would only practice. I loved games. That's where I got my exercise. And I was okay at that. But if I trained, I feel like I would have improved a lot more. And, taking time to do the little things that people don't notice, that goes a long way.
For sure. And, kind of going on that, I didn't start taking big strides in my own game until I started doing that. I was 125 pounds of nothing beginning of high school, and then I was like, I probably should take this seriously if this is what I want to do. And so I started taking my training, my conditioning, exercise very seriously. I put on a lot of weight, and I got serious about I literally would hit on the tee every day outside of practice for an hour and a half to 2 hours, just different tee drills, different field drills, different stuff like that, and then end with some form of glove drills or fielding drills of some sort. And I did that for like 2 years straight in high school. That's when I made my biggest strides.
Going back to instincts, I think, was Habits of a Champion in a crate?
Yes. So, Habits of a Champion by Dana Cavalier, great book. We featured that a couple months back. That's one we're going to talk about. Really good mental game book.
Yes. And he mentions don't go against your gut, which I think is really relevant to life, but also baseball, because that's one of the most prevalent sports where you really have to trust your instincts because everything's happening so quickly, especially at bat, in the field. What do you do when a liner is screened right at you?
That's why you got to be ready on pitch for whatever happens, and you got to trust your instincts. I mean, people say it all the time. Your first instinct is usually right, or your first guess on a multiple choice question is usually right. It's a game you're going to fail a lot, accept that failure, learn from it and move on. but you got to be ready to trust your instincts and go 110% no matter, what you do. Fail on the aggressive side.
So what was the biggest challenge baseball has ever, given you?
Baseball is a funny and crazy sport in more ways than one. Probably what I was chiming in about a little bit in college, maybe my biggest challenge, but now I'm facing, an even bigger one, trying to make a huge impact in baseball with Coach Crates. But yeah, sophomore year in college, like earning the starting shortstop spot, I went out and my first 2 at-bats actually lined out, and I was like, I'm seeing the ball great, I'm feeling great, and I was like the most physically shape I've probably ever been in my life. And then tore my PCL like the 3rd inning or something, and just was like, wow, I have terrible luck. And I'm like, well, you can create your own luck, or you can sulk about it. And I had a decision to make. I was, don't make excuses for anything. Fight for every moment you have to play for the rest of your career and do something about it. And that has been probably the greatest challenge, but also the greatest reward and lesson that I could have learned, and is helping me so much now in this business because I'm facing challenges left and right. You start a business and things are different every single day. You never know what tomorrow is going to bring. And as long as we stick true to our why and our mission of helping coaches and helping players get the most out of baseball and give back while we're doing that, I'm going to keep pushing forward and knocking those challenges over.
So fear of getting Wally pipped is kind of your
fear of getting Wally pipped,
your biggest challenge. I mean, that's what motivated you, right? To train hard. You didn't want to give up that spot. You wanted it to be there when you came back.
I guess you could say that. I didn't want to, and maybe it was the having no regrets thing. I didn't want to look back and say I could have done more,
right, or
could have been better. By the end of my college career, like, I was very injured. I like threw out my arm, my elbow and my knee. I injured my knee and a bunch of stuff along the way, but I felt like I gave it 110% all the time, all the way through, and for that I don't have any regrets. Like, I probably could have pointed out, I could go back if I really thought about it and pointed out a few things that I was like, could have done this better, could have done that better. But do I regret doing anything differently? No, because I went 110% the whole time. And that, if anything, that was my fear. I didn't want to fail ever because I didn't give it my all. I embrace failure 100%. You're not going to get better in life or in baseball without learning from failure. But if you didn't give it your all and you have any regrets along the way, it's very tough to look in the mirror and say, I didn't deserve to fail.
Right.
But if you gave it your all and you failed, and it just like, shit happens.
Yeah.
Roll with the punches. No excuses. Move on. Learn from it.
Dave, I mean, you said it before, you're very entrepreneurial. You were the only kid I know at a very young age that started selling household items on eBay. You've always had
I didn't let anything go to waste.
Right.
Someone needed it.
I mean, yeah.
And I could make a little money along the way, too.
Yeah, right. So
to buy my baseball equipment.
There you go. You got a Easton Stealth with your eBay earnings.
There you go.
Or a TPXXO.
I was not an EXO guy.
Me
Rawlings guy, actually. I'm a big Rawlings guy. Yeah, a lot of people might be talking, some garbage on Rawlings, but was one of my favorite bats. I did use an Easton in college, though. That thing was crazy. It was
Stealth?
No, it was after the Stealths. I can't even remember this one anymore. What the heck? Oh, Makos. The Makos. It was like the first model of the Makos. This thing was like a trampoline. Except it was BB core, so it was like you didn't get the air distance, but you got like the pop.
The pop.
It was interesting. Yeah.
I was a Dean Marini guy myself.
Dean Marini.
But moving on,
right. I could talk about everything and all the bats all day.
Like I really like your vision for your company. I really think the subscription method for providing tools, crate subscriber will never know what's going to be in that crate every month. I think that's exciting for the subscriber, and the fact that you're fully behind it, you're going 110% not only in life but attitude towards Coach Crates. I think a lot of big things coming up for Coach Crates and Dave Wodzisz. So thank you for coming on your own podcast, and hopefully there are more of these.
It was super cool to be interviewed, I guess, for the first one here. And yeah, stay tuned. Me and Quinn will be hosting together moving forward, and we're gonna have a lot of cool guests. But yeah, thanks for the kind words, and looking forward to continuing to help a lot of coaches and players out there get better, and discover why baseball is not only a great game, but can really help in different aspects of your life, and what life lessons you can learn from it.
Heck yeah, that was Dugout Therapy.